Check this out. Press the voice command button. Sunroof kholo. The 2024 Kia Sonet now gets English commands. Back in 2020 when the Sonet launched, it was one of the best equipped SUVs in its class, and since then the competition has played catch up. The Brezza, the Venue and even the Nexon have got significant updates, but the Sonet is now been infused with a few more features with fresh styling to keep it fresh, to keep up with the competition. Welcome to Evo India and welcome to our review of the 2024 Kia Sonet. This may just be a facelift, but there is plenty to talk about. Before we go ahead, make sure you like this video, leave a comment down below. What do you think of the new Kia Sonet? And subscribe because you don't want to miss another video drop from Evo India. Now let's talk styling first. We've already got a whole walk around video of the Kia Sonet, so I'm not going to gloss over too many of the details. I'll just give you quick updates. New headlamps, LED DRLs with LED lamps on this top end variant. You've got an updated grille and an updated bumper. You've also got these slim fog lamps on this top end variant. Lower variants get different shapes for the fog lamps. This is also the top end X-line trim, which means you get this matte black paint along with a lot of glossy black elements around the car. Over at the side, the changes are fewer. You get new wheel designs. These are running 16s on this variant, but across the range you get a total of 4 wheel designs and they're all fresh. You also get rear disc brakes, which is significant. It helps with braking performance. And over there, you can see there's a new rear spoiler. That was not there on the Sonet earlier. At the back, the changes are not so significant. You get these vertically stacked tail lamps. You get this light bar that runs across the width of the car that actually looks very cool. Being the X-Line, you get the X-Line badge over there. And again, more gloss black elements at the bottom. And also, you get different bumper designs on these top-end trims compared to the lower-end trims. Overall, these changes are not significant, but they're nice touches all over the place to make the Sonet look fresh for 2024. And it does look fresh on the road. Now let's talk about the interiors. You do get a few updates on the inside. They're not significant, but they do uplift the cabin a fair bit. On these top-end variants, you get a fully digital instrument cluster, 10.25 inches, exactly like you get on the Seltos. Otherwise, the cabin remains pretty much the same. You get the same layout of the dash, you get the same flow of controls. You get a nice large 10.25-inch infotainment screen, you get physical AC controls, and you get hard buttons for your drive modes and traction control. The Sonet has always been a very well-equipped car, and that continues with this update. Like I said, you get English commands now, which is new. You also continue with the sunroof, your cool seats, your wireless phone charger. You get electrically adjustable driver's seats, and you get a fair few features over the competition. Compared to the Venue, for example, you get a 360-degree camera, you get a 7-speaker Bose system. The Venue only gets 6 speakers. You also get front parking sensors and a bunch of other stuff. The big update to the Sonet now is ADAS, which the Venue does get, but cars like the Nexon and the Brezza don't get. This is level 1 ADAS, which uses a front camera that is mounted over here to read the road and allows you features like front collision warning, front collision assist, and even lane keep assist. As for the trim levels, we're in the X-Line, which means you get the sage green upholstery with red stitching, but the Tech line and the GT line, they both get different upholstery. Something that's very useful, especially in the winters like now, is the air purifier. You get it right here. The Sonet was one of the first cars ever to get a proper air purifier with a HEPA filter, and it continues with this update. Really helpful keeping the AQI in the cabin down. Now let's talk about the back seat of the Kia Sonet because there are significant updates here. Kia has heard our feedback and made tweaks to the seat to make it more comfortable. For starters, the bench is a little longer to improve under thigh support, and I must say it does help. Also, the front seat has a little bit of a deeper scoop over here to ensure you have a little more knee room. It does help, again, a little bit. This is not going to be the most comfortable back seat in its class, but it is certainly better than before. Other bits that I really like, you obviously have direct access to your air purifier over here, and the neatest trick is the sunshade. This is not something you see in this segment too often, but it's a neat trick that gives you a little bit of privacy and a little bit of shade in the summers. Okay, on the go, what is the new Sonet like? Honestly, not too much has changed because, like I said before, this is a facelift and the focus has been cosmetic and on features. What I'm driving is the 1.0 TGDI engine mated to the DCT transmission. This engine is also available with the IMT transmission. In terms of sheer outputs, it makes 118 bhp and 172 Nm of torque, which is identical to what you got before. And performance is genuinely sprightly. You kick the pedal down twice, step on the throttle, and it really picks up the pace really energetically. It feels nice, it feels smooth. This is a 3-cylinder, but it is very refined. At idle, there is a bit of clatter and vibes in the cabin, but once you get rolling, the vibes sort of quiet down and it's a lot nicer. What I also like is that you do get paddle shifters even in the Sonet, which means when you want to drive it a little energetically, when you feel you're in the mood to shift, you can choose to do so. Like before, you get drive modes and they change the mapping of the engine a little bit. Sport makes it really enthusiastic. That initial throttle response and the way it gets onto boost is a lot more aggressive. Makes it feel really fun, but obviously it's going to affect your fuel economy. I think normal mode is the best balance. Unless you're looking to be setting lap times, I don't think you really need sport mode. Now, ride and handling. The Sonet has always been a sporty setup car. Ride has been a little firm, and it has been an enthusiastic car to drive, and honestly that remains. It still is set up on the firmer side. You still get 16-inch wheels, but Kia has mentioned in a small place on their press kit that the dampening has been adjusted to make it better over rough roads. The adjustment is very minor. You can still feel most of the surface of the road through the cabin, which is, for somebody like me, I don't really mind it, but if you're somebody looking for comfort and outright comfort, it might get in the way of that. So this is not the plushest riding in its class for sure. It's more on the stiffer side, but I can definitely say that it has been slackened just a little bit to make it a little better over bad surfaces. The steering on the Sonet is also quite nice. It's light, it's easy to maneuver, it's easy to drive in the city. When you put it into sport, it weighs up really nicely. It's a little dead in terms of feedback. You don't really have a clear picture of where grip levels are until you start hearing the tires squeal. But apart from that, it's a really nice. It feels direct, it feels connected, and the Sonet is one of the most fun cars to drive around a twisty, windy road because of how nice and dialed in the chassis is. Stuff that annoys me in the Sonet, the fact that it doesn't have wireless CarPlay. This still has wired CarPlay and this still has a USB Type-A port. So if you want to get your CarPlay running, you have to have a cable with USB Type-A, which are hard to find honestly these days. Your phones don't come with them anymore. Everything is moved to Type-C. And B, you can't be wireless. So no matter what you do, you're going to be stuck with that cable for the next couple of years for sure. Something that I really like is this new instrument cluster. You know, it's simple in that it has two readouts which look analog but are actually digital, and when you change the drive modes, you can actually see the graphics on there change a little bit, which is good because it just lends a slightly more premium feel to the car. This is stuff that Mercedes, Benz and the likes of Audi and BMW have been doing, but to get it in a car in this segment is really nice. Something else that Kia has said that they have worked on is NVH levels, and NVH levels are generally good over here. If they are better than before, I honestly have to drive the old Sonet and the new Sonet back to back to give you that sort of a comparison. A lot of features play into that, including what tires you're running, the tread on them, stuff like that. So you need a proper back-to-back comparison to sort of compare that. But at 80 kilometers now, I'm cruising. I can definitely say that NVH levels are good. And the engine, particularly the 3-cylinder, despite being a 3-cylinder, you really can't hear it too much in the cabin. Normally these 3-cylinders are gruff and loud and unrefined, but for sure in the Kia Sonet, the engine's noise is very well damped.
It's only when you really bring it out in sport mode do you really hear it. And even when you do, it's not really an intrusive sound. I don't mind it in sport mode because it sort of adds to the driving experience. But when you're cruising along in eco or in normal mode, it's absolutely peaceful and it's not intrusive. Overall, the Kia Sonet hasn't changed too much in its driving because honestly the fundamentals of its platform and chassis and engine honestly haven't changed. There's not too much to talk about in terms of a change in the driving characteristics of the car, but I must say it is a pleasurable car to drive. It is an enjoyable car to drive. It feels stable, it feels connected in the city. You've got good visibility, easy to drive, and it really gives you the best of most worlds. So the Kia Sonet definitely a good driver's car if that's something you're looking for.
As you can tell, the changes to the Kia Sonet are incremental improvements. You've got better styling. It does look a lot more striking on the road. The features list is now fatter from an already fat list, and the comfort levels have been improved marginally. But overall, the strengths of the Sonet remain where they used to be. It's still a very good looking car, very striking looking car, and it remains a fun car to drive. Prices aren't out yet, but we expect pricing to be on par with the likes of the Venue and the Nexon, with base prices being around 8 lakh rupees ex-showroom, going all the way up to 15 lakh rupees ex-showroom. I hope I've answered all your questions on the Sonet today. If I haven't, please drop them in the comments below and we will get back to you. And that's it from us here at Evo India today. Wish you a happy 2024. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.